All right, I'm coming to you from Six Flags for this month's real estate market update. Let's see what's been going on for the last 30 days in Massachusetts. So Massachusetts, last 30 days, average list price, $836,000. Average sale price, $854,000. So on average, 3% over asking. Average days on market, 27. And we're seeing about the same trends as we've been seeing. So, you know, from 200,000 all the way down to 3.99 million, you're looking at about asking 2% above, 3% above, 4% above. But once you jump over that threshold, some of the categories dip down again, just like we've been seeing. So from the $5 million to $9.9 million range, 9 homes in that category, and they sold on average 7% below asking. But the outlier here, jump up one category, 10 million to 99 million, pretty big range. But looking at 4 homes, on average, 4% above asking in that category. But other than that, you're seeing the same thing we've been seeing for trends, right? You know, all that middle spot is like the sweet spot, and then when you get to the higher end properties, you know, you're seeing them go below asking. So what about Bristol County? What's been going on in Bristol County? So in Bristol County for the last 30 days, on average, 3% over asking. So average list price, $601,000. Average sales price, $611,000. Average days on market, 31. And a lot of similar trends here, right? So $350,000 all the way to $999,000. What we've been seeing, right? Asking a little above, a little below. But there's one little sweet spot that I really wanted to look at, one cutoff. So from the $300,000 to $350,000 range, those homes sold on average 2% below asking. But then the category right above that, $350,000 to $399,000, was 4% above asking. So just that one line from $349,000 to $350,000 is where you saw a shift in Bristol County for whatever reason. And then when you look down, you know, $1 million plus, just like we're seeing with Massachusetts, $1 million to $1.49 million range, 1% below, and then 1.5 to 1.9 on average, 5% below. So similar trends in Bristol County, but I thought it was interesting, you know, that one little line from 349 to 350, the difference. All right, and what about investment properties? So Massachusetts, for multifamily properties in the last 30 days, average was 2% above asking. So the average list price was $947,000. The average sales price was $940,000. 28 days on market, so seeing the properties that are multifamily sell a little bit quicker than the single family homes. And that was based on 501 multifamily properties that sold in the last 30 days in Massachusetts. So same trends. I won't dive too much into it, but 200,000 all the way up to 4.9 million, all asking, a little above asking, all those categories. But again, $5 million to $9.9 million range, 8% below asking was the average. And then there was one home above that where the list price was $27,500,000 and it sold for $21 million. So that one went for 24% below asking. I didn't look at the details on that property. I didn't look at the actual listing, but I'm just looking at here on the numbers. So that's obviously well below asking for that category. All right, let's talk about Bristol County for multifamilies. Bristol County, average list price, $595,000. Average sales price, $599,000. So on average, 1% over asking. On days on market, on average, 32 days. So similar, but a little bit higher than Massachusetts overall. A couple categories that jumped out, from $350,000 to $399,000, which is 2 homes sold in that category. But they went on average 10% below asking. And then from $450,000 to $499,000, 5 homes, and they went on average 2% below asking. So little bit of a, a spot. If you're looking to buy, you might be able to get a deal in those categories there. But I also saw that little line of demarcation again here. So here, from 700 to 799,000, the average was 4% above asking. But then as soon as you go above that line, from 800,000 to 899,000, it jumped down to 3% below asking. So you went from 4% over asking to 3% below asking, just from going from 799,000 to 800,000, on numbers on a report. Obviously it's not, you can't just go by that one number, but you guys get what I'm saying. So just interesting, a couple of these lines of demarcations popping up this month when I'm looking at the numbers. All right, well, I'm gonna have one extra town in here because since I'm in Agawam, got to talk about Agawam, right? So in Agawam, what's been going on here in the last 30 days? So here, it's been on average 2% above asking, and the average list price is $456,000, whereas the average sales price is $467,000. So on average, 3% above. Average days on market 30, and that's based on 12 homes. So 12 homes are sold here in Agawam in the last 30 days. Some categories jumped out. So from the $300,000 to $349,000 range, 3 homes in that category, on average 5% above asking. And then another category that jumped out, $400,000 to $449,000, 3 homes as well in that category, and that was 5% above asking. So you're seeing some categories that are pretty hot in Agawam. But then there was one home that kind of, brought some numbers down a little bit. That was the one home that was listed at $549 and went for $520. So went for 5% below asking. But then jump up again, $600,000 to $699,000. And it's only one home, so I hate to go by one home, but it went for 10% above asking. So they listed it at $550 and they got $605 for it. So just figured I'd share with you what's going on in Agawam since I'm here today with the family. All right, so now we'll dive into my hometown, see what's been going on in my hometown for the last 30 days. We got Swansea, on average, are getting asking. So it's dead even. So 587,000 on the list, 587,000 on the ask. That's the average in Swansea. Average days on market, 27. That was based on 14 homes. So a lot of movement in Swansea in the last 30 days. And one category that jumped out was just one that was below asking, actually. So from 500,000 to 599,000, 5 homes of those 14 were in that category, and they sold on average 2% below asking. So kind of interesting, just figured I'd point that out. But other than that, you're seeing above asking in all the other categories. It's Swansea. All right, so let's jump over to Seekonk. So in Seekonk for the last 30 days, on average was 3% over asking. So the average list price was $609,000. The average sale price was $620,000. Average days on market, 33. And that was based on 17 homes. So in my hometown, you're starting to see the number of homes rise as far as transactions going in the last 30 days. Really only one category to talk about here, and that was the $500,000 to $599,000 range. And there were 5 homes in that category, and they went on average 6% above asking. So the average list price there was $495,000, and the average sales price was $523,000. So again, based on 5 homes, so decent size sample size, but that was the one category that was selling at the highest amount, over asking on average. All right, so what's been going on in Somerset? So in Somerset, 2% above asking on average. So average list price, $403,000. The average sales price, $501,000. So that's based on 15 homes that sold in the last 30 days. Just 2 categories I'm going to talk about here. One was the $400,000 to $449,000 range, and this was based on 4 homes, and they went on average 1% below asking. And another category jumped out, $500,000 again to $599,000, like we just saw. On average here, 5% above asking. So, and that was also based on 4 homes. So on average there, they were asking $503, and they got $527. So that's a little bit of a hot spot in Somerset right now. All right, so what about Dighton? So in Dighton, like we're seeing in my hometown, besides Swansea, which was even, you're seeing above asking. So 5% above asking was the average in Dighton. So average list price, $515,000, and the average sales price was $536,000. So that was only based on 5 homes. Average days on market, 18. But still, those are the numbers in Dighton. Just a couple categories here. Obviously just 1 home each, so I'm not gonna delve too much into it, but it was listed at $359 and it went for $400,000. And then another home was listed at $489 and it went for $550,000. So 12% above on that one. And I'm sorry, the category I just talked about before that was 11% above. The one that went for $359 was listed and went for $400. That was 11% above. And last but not least, let's talk about Rehoboth. So in Rehoboth, again, like the other hometowns, above asking. So the average was 2% above. The average list price was $849,000, and the average sales price was $856,000. And that was based on 7 homes, and the average days on market there were 18. So not too much to talk about. 7 homes total for the town, but 3 homes in this one category that we saw in the other hometowns, $500,000 to $599,000. 3 of the homes were in that category, and they went on average 6% above asking. So that's turning into a hot category in the hometowns. So, you know, on average, they listed it at $521,000, and they ended up selling on average for $551,000. So anyway, so that's a wrap on the hometowns. That's a wrap on the video. I'm gonna get back to my family. We just stopped to eat, so they should be about done eating. I eat really quick, so I come do this video, but we're gonna go hit some rides. Probably gonna hit the water park, so we're gonna have fun. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next one, and I look forward to that.